Start by splitting your raid into two groups roughly equal. Put one group on green and one group on blue. Players should be stacked up on these markers to leave a clear space for incineration victims to use. You will need to assign 3 players to soak scales in Phase 3. Set 2 tanks and 1 DPS with a damage reduction such as a paladin or hunter for this role. We set the tanks to pick up the 2 scales on either side of the boss, with the DPS taking the scale in the middle. The scales will be discussed further in Phase 3. On the pull, 1 tank picks up the boss and takes him to Skull, while the tank themselves stands on Cross. The tanks will take 2 stacks of Wrathion's Searing Breath attack before swapping, like so. The boss will debuff several random players with Incineration. The players affected by this should move away from the boss directly behind them. Avoid going to the front or rear of the boss, as you will be hit by tail swipes or the breath attack. It's important to move early when targeted by Incineration. Other players who are also targeted by Incineration will also be moving out, and if you all leave it to the last second, you won't have time to adjust if you have chosen a poor vector. Instead, move as soon as you are targeted, and get to safety early. If you're the only player affected on your side of the boss, then you'll know your escape vector will be uncontested. The boss will eventually switch to Phase 2. This will start with a close range blast that raiders should dodge, and then he will face a random direction before going untargetable. The boss will then travel in that direction. When the boss arrives at this position, he will turn around and blow up basically the whole raid area. The safe zone is not marked, instead all the fatal zones will be marked. To handle this, when the boss first becomes untargetable and changes direction, raiders should identify where Wrathion is facing and run in the opposite direction. This will increase the chances that your team is near a safe zone. It won't guarantee this, however. Pay attention to where Wrathion ends up and the new direction he is facing. This generally indicates where the safe zone will be, but it will be up to your raid team to rapidly reposition appropriately. Additional raid markers placed around the outside of the room will make it easier to coordinate the team's positioning. The raid stacks in the safe zone. Be aware some players may still have Incineration upon them while trying to stack in this safe zone. These players should use personal cooldowns in combination with raid cooldowns to survive the ensuing blast. After the room has finished blowing up, it's time to fight the boss again. Pick up the boss and take him to the center. The raid team should fall in on either side of the boss. The tank should not dial the boss around. Our kill video at the end of this guide shows the incorrect positioning, with some raiders being tail swiped as a consequence. Phase 1 and Phase 2 alternate until a second Phase 2 has been completed. The encounter then progresses to Phase 3. Wrathion will spawn many pillars throughout the area. The players who were assigned to soak scales should move to their assigned scales as fast as possible. The scales will provide the soakers with a debuff that will allow them to passively destroy any of the pillars by moving through them. One of your soaking tanks should remain near the boss to destroy any pillars that spawn directly underneath Wrathion, while your other soaking tank should move towards this central marked area and clear any pillars they can on the way. Your DPS should look for any isolated pillars to destroy, and leave clumped up ones for the raid to cleave down. To prevent confusion, assign your tanks to each side. For example, Tank A has the left scale before the pull. Meanwhile, the rest of the raid should collapse on these markers. Throw down flares and area of effect abilities to detect and disable the assassins which have spawned and are now moving towards the raid. The assassins are not a DPS priority. The raid should focus on destroying clumps of pillars. The tank who ran directly back to the raid picks up these assassins and moves them around from pillar to pillar while the raid blows them up and cleaves them down. Once all of the pillars are destroyed, the encounter begins from Phase 1 again. If you take too long to destroy the pillars, Wrathion will destroy them himself, leaving a hard-hitting dot on all raiders for every pillar he destroyed. There are no other significant mechanics. Execute the strategy, and victory will follow.
Here on the pool, please.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Before the Black Emperor! All will be incinerated! I will see you burn!
Beware.
Your long
To his tail. Looks like X will be the safe zone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beware.
Move.
Brew, can I get you to do one of the scales on the next air phase, please? Please confirm.
Yeah, all good.
Thank you. Can I get you to take the middle one?
I've got right.
Copy that. I'll take left.
I don't have a target.
all will be incinerated! All will be incinerated!
Beware.
Your lungs will turn to ash!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
To X and a little bit further. Somewhere between... Yeah, around X. Okay, healers are marked. Can I get to the healers to go between skull and triangle? Everything you can do to keep them alive, please. CC any assassins, drop flares, etc.
You think yourselves immune to madness? Are you certain that it has yet to take hold of you? Rest easy, heroes. My servants will ensure your deaths are painless.
Where are the healers at? I can't see them.
Between skull and triangle.
Okay, fantastic. Alright, so you can now move into wherever you want. I think we picked them all up.
Why resist?
Picking him up.
Give yourselves to the flames. I will see you burn.
Watch the tail.
All will be incinerated.
Beware.
The world shall burn.
New moon.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beware.
You're ready to move. Yeah, move.
Move to
Go
coin.
towards coin.
It's too far away.
I will see you burn. Azeroth is doomed.